brand new month, the 1st of July 2024. This is Newsfirst Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst headquarters in Colombo, bringing you the news for the Newsfirst team. I am Jayama Ratnayaka.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara, and here are your headlines for tonight.
Remains of the late AR Sandan to be placed in Colombo for public respect. Body will be moved to Parliament on Wednesday. Debate on Sri Lanka's debt restructuring delayed. Tomorrow's Parliament session limited to President's statement. Is there an attempt to delay the elections? People Struggle Movement heads to the Election Commission. Sajid to head to India ahead of the elections. Kehelia misled the cabinet when procuring substandard medicines. AG tells court. Bus fares reduced with effect from midnight.
The remains of the late AR Sandan, a former opposition leader of the Tamil National Alliance and Member of Parliament, will be placed at a private parlour in Colombo tomorrow for the public to pay their respects to the statesman. Sandan passed away at the age of 91. AR Sandan had been ailing for some time, and he breathed his last at a private hospital in Colombo last night. Tomorrow, the remains of the late Sandan will be placed at a private parlour in Colombo for the public to pay their respects throughout the day. The Committee on Parliamentary Business decided that the late AR Sandan's body will be placed in the front hall of the Parliament complex on Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
ඊට පස්සේ එතුමාගේ district වන ත්‍රිකුණාමලයට දේගේ අපි ගෙනියනවා. එහෙ කවදාද අන්තිම වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්න කියලා තාම තීරණය කරලා නැහැ. එනමුත් ඉරිදා දවස කියලා තමයි දැනට අපි හිතන්නේ.
AR Sandan, born in 1933, was a respected lawyer by profession. His political journey began when he secured a parliamentary mandate by winning the Trincomalee district in the 1977 general election. Over the years, he served as an MP during various terms, including from 1977 to 1983 and 1997 to 2000. Notably, AR Sandan held the position of the 14th opposition leader in the Sri Lankan Parliament. He was also a Member of Parliament, serving from 2001 until his passing. From 2015 to 2018, he also led the opposition. His unwavering advocacy for the Tamil community will remain an indelible part of his political legacy, spanning over half a century. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed deepest condolences on the passing of AR Sandan. In a post on X, the President said that as a national leader, AR Sandan worked tirelessly to bridge the divisions in our country. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena in a statement said that AR Sandan, being a central and decisive factor in Tamil national politics, directly stood for the ideology of his faction as a leader of the Tamil National Alliance and as a common leader of the Tamil people. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that the late Sandan's dedication to equal rights for all Sri Lankans is a beacon of hope. In a post on X, Sajid Premadasa said that the late Sandan's fair and just leadership will continue to inspire him and many others. Former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the passing of AR Sandan is a loss to Sri Lanka's political fraternity. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also issued a message of condolence on X. Narendra Modi said that he will always cherish fond memories of meetings with AR Sandan, adding that the late statesman relentlessly pursued a life of peace, security, equality, justice and dignity for the Tamil nationals of Sri Lanka. Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said he was deeply saddened to hear about the passing away of Sri Lankan Tamil leader AR Sandan. He said that the late Sandan dedicated his entire life fighting for the equality, dignity and justice for Tamils in Sri Lanka. US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung, in a post on X, said that she was deeply saddened to hear the passing of MP AR Sandan, a veteran Tamil politician who worked to create a cohesive, peaceful society within Sri Lanka. She said that his advocacy for equal rights for minorities helped advance broader human rights for all Sri Lankan citizens and encouraged unity.
In more local news, following a party leaders' meeting held this afternoon, it has been decided not to proceed with the parliamentary debate originally scheduled for tomorrow and the following day regarding the agreements related to debt restructuring. However, the President will address the issue of foreign debt restructuring in Parliament tomorrow.
Earlier, the Committee on Parliamentary Business decided to debate the resolution for the implementation of external debt restructuring agreements on the 2nd and 3rd of July. However, the party leaders in their meeting held this afternoon decided not to proceed with the debate.
It was decided that tomorrow will be set aside for the President's statement and to adjourn sittings. The Parliament will not meet on Wednesday and the remains of the late AR Sandan will be moved to Parliament that afternoon. As we pointed out, the government announced that the signed agreements would not be presented tomorrow. While the government claims to have signed these agreements, it has not actually done so. In the President's speech in Matra yesterday, it was explicitly stated that 2 agreements were signed, but the 3rd agreement remains unsigned. Without this 3rd agreement, any debate lacks a complete picture. The President is scheduled to address these agreements tomorrow, but Parliament will be adjourned after his speech without presenting them.
Chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, Dr. Harsha De Silva, also commented on the matter.
I mentioned that if we aim to present this proposal to the Finance Committee on Friday, we need to have the proposal ready. As the Chairman of the Finance Committee, I cannot approve or reject a resolution without reviewing it. I further stated that we need the proposal by noon because, based on what we've heard, this is a complex agreement that requires thorough examination by our committee members. At around 12 o'clock, communications continued and we were informed that the agreement could not be provided to the Finance Committee. Additionally, we were told that officials from the Finance Ministry could not appear before the committee. However, it was crucial for the Finance Committee to review and approve this matter. I emphasize that, as Chairman, I have a responsibility to act diligently and cannot approve something without understanding it fully. Later in the evening, the President called me and asked me why the Committee on Public Finance cannot meet. I asked the President to put himself in my shoes and consider whether he could manage under the same conditions. He acknowledged my point and agreed that the agreement is essential for passing the resolution. He couldn't understand why there was so much debate and confusion about this. I then pointed out that it was already Friday evening, making it too late to proceed with the discussion. The President assured me that his concern was personal and he hadn't intended to bring this up publicly. I also informed my leader Sajid Premadasa about the situation. It was anyway insisted that the agreement should remain confidential until discussions with international bondholders concluded. Despite some individuals having access to these agreements, they cannot be presented to Parliament due to their confidential nature. I told the President that the matter cannot be debated like this, and he accepted that point.
Senior Additional Solicitor General, President's Counsel Parliamentary Ranasinghe took the oath of office as the Acting Attorney General. Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya administered the swearing-in. Parliamentary Ranasinghe assumes the role of Acting Attorney General following the retirement of Sanjay Rajaratnam from the position of Attorney General on the 26th of June. The Senior Additional Solicitor General was appointed as the Acting Attorney General by the President. With an impressive 31-year career in legal service, Parliamentary Ranasinghe has held various key positions including Senior State Counsel, Deputy Solicitor General, Additional Solicitor General and Senior Additional Solicitor General. Notably, Acting Attorney General Parliamentary Ranasinghe is the son of the late K.A. Parliamentary Ranasinghe, who served as the 38th Chief Justice of Sri Lanka from 1988 to 1991.
Members of the People's Struggle Movement visited the Election Commission to raise concerns over political attempts to change the presidential election.
A delegation from the People's Struggle Movement visited the Election Commission to raise their concerns over the comments made by the President at a rally in Mathura a day earlier.
ඊයේ දවසේදී මාතර රැස්වීමකදී රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපතිවරයා කිව්වේ ඉදිරියට පවත්වන මහමැතිවරණය ජනාධිපතිවරණය සම්බන්ධව අපි ඔක්කොම කතා කරලා තීරණය කරමු.
At a meeting in Mathura yesterday, President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated that everything will be discussed and decided regarding the upcoming general election and presidential election. He mentioned that if the government and various parties reach a consensus after discussions, he will abide by that decision. President Wickremesinghe can dissolve the current parliament and call for a general election according to his presidential powers. However, the statement yesterday appeared to reveal his intentions and thoughts about the election timeline in Sri Lanka. We want to remind the president that he does not have the mandate to make unilateral decisions on these matters. The people of this country have already ended the mandate given to the SLPP and President Wickremesinghe's mandate in July 2022.
ඒ වගේම රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහගේ ජනවර මත 2022 ජූලි 9 තමයි මේ රටේ ජනතාව අවසන් කරේ.
පොදු ජන පෙරමුණ සහ පොදු ජන පෙරමුණේ අනිත් පාර්ශවයන් සියල්ල සීසීකට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන අතර රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ
the SLPP, yet he is already troubled by the prospect of upcoming elections. Additionally, his attempts to secure part of the Samagi Jana Balawege's support has failed. In this scenario, Wickremesinghe is left with the option of withdrawing from the presidential race rather than facing the risk of finishing third.
නම් වූ පිටින් ජනාධිපතිවරණය තරම් නොකර ඉවත් වෙන එක කියන්නේ තමයි දැන් ඔහුට ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
ආණ්ඩුව තුනට කැඩිලා අපේක්ෂකව දුන් දෙනට විජේදාස රාජපක්ෂ ධම්මික පෙරේරා.
The government is currently divided among three potential candidates: Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, Dhammika Perera, Ranil Wickremesinghe or Namal Rajapaksa. The government has not yet been able to settle on a candidate. It is evident that Ranil has no chance in the presidential election. We, the people, assert that while we may lack a viable presidential candidate, we still have a presidential election and a general election ahead. It is the people's responsibility to make that decision.
ජනතාවට සිද්ධ වෙනවා ඒ මැතිවරණය කරන්න.
MP Mujibur Rahman revealed that no one from the SJB will support the president.
Regarding the contract with Adani, it is clearly a very corrupt agreement. Our technical committee has indicated that a unit can be purchased for 5.2 US cents. Despite this, the minister is set to sign the agreement for 8.2 US cents, which is 3 cents more. I have identified 1,860 billion rupees in tax evasion with 678 billion rupees in unpaid VAT. In 2023, tax concessions amounting to 972 billion rupees were granted. Altogether, we are owed 2,716 billion rupees in taxes. What is the plan to collect these taxes? There is also another serious issue involving a large piece of land, about 4.5 to 5 acres, which has been allocated in Palliagoda. This land was given to a close associate of the president at a monthly rent of 2.5 million rupees without any tender process. Furthermore, another 6 acres of land have been allocated to the Charmers. Despite a tender process offering 10 million rupees per month for car parking, the land was leased at 2 million rupees per month without any tender for 6 months. This needs to be scrutinized. These Titanic stories are pointless. Even though the Titanic was brought in, it was the people on board who sank it. Those same people who destroyed the ship were on the platform. Ranil Wickremesinghe is not naive. He knows Kanchana, Mahindananda and Prasanna. He cannot win the presidential election by relying on that platform because he knows the people will not support the SLPP. To win, one must come from the SJB. There are always conspiracies to divide the SJB, and we remind him that he is currently aligned with the Rajapaksa camp, the same people who ruined the country. No one from the SJB camp will join that group.
Attorney-at-Law Sunil Vatakala, speaking in Parliamentary, addressed concerns over the attempts being made to extend the tenure of the president.
The leader who came to power through a constitutional loophole is now trying to extend his tenure by another 11 months and 29 days. Article 83 of the Constitution still mentions 6 years. According to the Constitution, a term lasts 6 years. This means that on the 17th of November 2024, it will be 5 years. They seem to believe that they can remain in power for another 11 months and 29 days as stated in the Constitution. We heard that there was an attempt to manipulate the system involving the Attorney General Rajaratnam to grant extension of service and then to the Supreme Court. This move was seen as part of a larger conspiracy. However, we know that chapter closed. After thorough examination, we have concluded that there is no constitutional provision to extend the term.
ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ කිසිදු ඉඩක් නැති බව අපි අධ්‍යයනය කළා අවසන්.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa has urged not to toy with the people's lives by making false statements. The opposition leader was speaking at an event to present the Sam Rifai Hajiyar Mahavidyalaya in Beruwala with a smart classroom.
The people should not be deceived, whether we like it or not. Our nation faces domestic and foreign debts totaling nearly $100 billion. This is a dangerous debt trap. How can we escape this predicament? To find a way out, all those responsible for governing our country must remember that their positions are temporary. No one has been given permanent ownership of the country. As temporary custodians, leaders must prioritize the nation's interests over personal gain when making decisions. They should focus on the country's welfare rather than their own agendas and political careers. The priority must be the nation's survival. We need to end the era of deceiving the people.
Samagi Jana Balawege General Secretary Ranjit Madhuma Bandara told Newsfirst 10 Questions that the opposition leader is preparing for a visit to India before the elections.
We have received invitations and our leader will also be attending. The timing of the visit will be determined by planning considerations. It's important to make these visits when necessary. Yes, it makes no sense to go after the election.
The Election Commission will be empowered to proclaim the date for the presidential election in 16 days.
The power of the people.
The Attorney General informed the Court of Appeal that former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwalla had misled the Cabinet by providing inaccurate information with regard to the distribution of substandard antibody vaccines within the Sri Lankan hospital system.
The Court of Appeal reconsidered the writ petition submitted by former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwalla. The petition requested that the Court of Appeal invalidate the Maligakanda Magistrates Court to place him in remand custody with regard to the distribution of substandard antibody vaccines within the Sri Lankan hospital system. The petition was taken up in the presence of a bench comprising Court of Appeal President Nisanka Bandulu Karunaratne and Justice B. Sashi Mahendran. During the proceedings, Additional Solicitor General Nirmalan Vigneswaran highlighted that the petitioner minister had misled the Cabinet and provided inaccurate information regarding drug stock levels at the medical storage, claiming that there were insufficient stocks, while in fact sufficient stocks were maintained. Furthermore, the Additional Solicitor General affirmed that the Maligakanda Magistrates order was well-founded, having been carefully evaluated based on all available evidence. He urged the court to dismiss the petition without taking it up for examination. The petition will be taken up again tomorrow.
Clean water is a basic human right, but for 500 families in Galembindunubaba, it was a privilege. Now, a new water purification system ensures a vital resource, leaving a legacy of well-being for generations to come.
රටට වටින අසාමාන්‍ය අසම සම අනන්‍ය දක්ෂතාවෙන් නොවත් මවිත කරවන විශ්මිත ජාත්‍යන්තර වේදිකාව ලොවතුරා රටවල් 70ක අති සාර්ථකව විකාශය වන Got Talent වැඩසටහනේ වරලත් ශ්‍රී ලාංකේය දිගහැරුම Sri Lanka's Got Talent Season 2 ජූලි 6 වනදා සිට සති අග සිරසේ රාත්‍රී 8:30ට
Actress and model Pumi Hansamali appeared at the Illegal Assets Investigation Division of the Criminal Investigations Department on Monday to provide a statement. A complaint had been filed with the CID citing that Hansamali had generated a revenue to the tune of millions of rupees through suspicious means.
The Illegal Assets Investigations Division initiated an investigation against Pumi Hansamali and she was informed to appear at the CID last Monday. She did not appear last week and instead arrived today along with documents including bank statements.
Good morning,
I was summoned to provide statement by the Legal Assets Investigation Division. I am here to provide that statement. I was told to come here last Monday and the letter arrived on Saturday. So since there were a lot of documents to prepare, I could not make it. I'm yet to complete preparing the documents. I am here with whatever documents that I prepared. I also have bank statements for around 25,000 orders. The people can decide. My cream pack alone is 35,000 rupees. They can do the math and determine how Pumi Hansamali earned money. This is a vehicle that was given to him by a car sale and it has been proven. They won't give it for free. I earn money and I purchase this. I have all details of the bank transactions as well. People have purchased my creams. I purchased this vehicle from a car sale and I will return after submitting all these documents. All invoices from the very first order are here. So you can do the math by multiplying 25,000 orders with a price tag of 35,000 rupees per unit. Then you can understand whether Pumi Hansamali sold drugs or laundered money.
Police spokesperson DIG and attorney at law Nihal Thalduwa said that Pumi Hansamali was not summoned today. Accordingly, no statement was recorded from her today and it has been communicated that another date will be scheduled instead.
That's fine. I have all the documents ready. Maybe they were not ready. I did not carry all the documents. I am not afraid. I have a child who is my life. Since the day my child was born, I worked to earn money and sent my child to an international school. What would happen to my child if I was sent to prison for dealing drugs? I do not need to engage in such insane things. I am earning more than those involved in that trade.
Former Member of Parliament Hirunika Premachandra submitted a bail application and an appeal to the Colombo High Court. In these applications, she seeks the cancellation of the orders that imposed her prison sentences and requested that she be acquitted. The bail application and appeal were filed by President's Counsel Nalinda Indathissa. A bail application was filed seeking release pending the appeal.
Chinese criminal syndicates involved in human trafficking have transported 20 Sri Lankans who were forcibly held in Myanmar to the town of Myawaddy. Presently, the Sri Lankan youth are being held approximately 1 kilometer away from the local police station in Myawaddy.
Newsfirst has been diligently reporting on a distressing situation involving more than 50 Sri Lankan youths who are currently being held in an area controlled by an armed group along the Myanmar-Thailand border. These individuals were initially lured to Myanmar under the false promise of IT-related employment opportunities. Instead, they were coerced into engaging in computer crimes, subjected to various forms of torture, and exploited for criminal activities. During our ongoing investigation and reporting, 8 Sri Lankan youth who were held by force in the Myawaddy town were fortunately released. However, nearly 50 others remain forcibly detained in 2 separate locations. Specifically, 20 Sri Lankan youth are detained approximately 10 kilometers from the Myawaddy town, while the remaining 28 are held in a location at a distance of 26 kilometers. The sudden relocation of the 20 Sri Lankans to a place within Myawaddy city raises further alarm. Notably, the Myawaddy police station is only 1 kilometer away from their current location, and the transport hub for entering Thailand is also in close proximity. Chinese criminal syndicates have been operating extensively in various regions, including the United Arab Emirates, where their headquarters are based. Recent reports indicate that hundreds of individuals were arrested during a day and night operation, leading to the dismantling of an international cybercrime network. Several months ago, Newsfirst exposed the operation of the cybercrime group that was operating from Ajman, and the person who shared secretly recorded footage of the criminal activity was also threatened. In Sri Lanka, similar computer crime centers associated with Chinese criminal gangs have come to light. Recent police raids resulted in the arrest of nearly 200 foreigners who were involved in cybercrime activities. These individuals were arrested from Batanamulla and Negombo. Among those apprehended, 31 Chinese nationals in Waikala, Negombo have been remanded until the 5th after appearing before the Negombo magistrate. Investigations by the Criminal Investigation Department revealed that these foreigners have been funneling money to British, Dubai and Indian bank accounts. "25 Indian fishermen who were engaged in illegal poaching in the northern region of the Sea of Sri Lanka were arrested.
The Sri Lanka Navy conducted a special operation to chase away Indian fishing boats poaching into the Sea of Sri Lanka. The operation led to the seizure of 4 Indian doors and apprehension of 25 Indian fishermen poaching off the Delft Island, Jaffna. The Sri Lankan government has expressed its concern over the death of a Navy sailor during an operation to detain a group of Indian fishermen engaged in illegal fishing in the Sea of Sri Lanka. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported that the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Renuka Senaviratne, met with Indian Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to discuss the incident. Additionally, the Ministry of External Affairs stated that it has informed the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka about this matter.
As of today, it has been exactly 2 months since the commencement of the university non-academic staff strike. The Joint Committee of University Trade Unions highlights that the government has not yet provided a satisfactory resolution to the strike.
The trade union action arose in response to a 15% salary reduction and the absence of an increase in the monthly allowance. The Satyagraha campaign initiated by non-academic staff at the Rajarat University reached its 10th day.
A discussion will take place with the chairman of the commission and the finance ministry. We hope that a favourable solution will be reached.
The Satyagraha campaign by the non-academic staff at the Uvavelas University continues today, marking its 8th day. The Satyagraha campaign opposite the Karapitiya Medical Faculty continues as well. School development officers converged opposite the Ministry of Education, seeking solutions for their demands. While the group attended to engage in a silent protest opposite the location, several members of the group were permitted to enter the Ministry of Education for talks.
The minister said during the discussion that a solution will be provided through an alternative process. We have launched a satyagraha opposite the Fort Railway Station. We will end it from today.
The group dispersed based on a promise by the Ministry of Education that development officers will be absorbed into the teaching service within 2 weeks through alternate means. The International Monetary Fund said that Sri Lanka's debt restructuring was faster with improved creditor coordination.
The Newsfirst Finance Report.
The International Monetary Fund says it is seeing progress in accelerating debt restructuring for emerging market countries outside of the common framework. It adds that the common framework has started to deliver. The common framework, which brings creditor countries together to help restructure debt where needed, has started to deliver by reducing the time from IMF staff level agreement, a key step toward an IMF program, to deliver the financing assurances from official creditors required for program approval. Ghana's agreement this year took 5 months to cover those steps, roughly half the time it took for Chad in 2021 and Zambia in 2022. Ethiopia's talks are likely to be faster, closer to the customary 2 or 3 months. An IMF blog reported that Sri Lanka's case was faster than the process for Suriname that preceded it in 2021, reflecting improvements in creditor coordination and improved understanding of safeguards and assurances. On the 26th of June 2024, Sri Lanka reached final agreements on its debt treatment with the members of the Official Creditor Committee of Sri Lanka's major bilateral lenders and also bilateral debt treatment agreements in relation to the loans owed by Sri Lanka to Exim Bank of China. Accordingly, through these 2 sets of agreements reached on the 26th of June 2024, Sri Lanka has successfully concluded the treatment of its debt with its major official bilateral creditors, including China and the OCC members, Japan, India, France, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Hungary, Korea, the Netherlands, Russia, Spain, Sweden, United Kingdom and the United States of America. This amounts to a total of $10 billion agreed to be treated by these lenders.
The Newsfirst Finance Report. The Finance Ministry said that the debt restructuring MOUs with the Official Creditor Committee must be translated into individual bilateral agreements.
Sri Lanka's Finance Ministry said that the final restructuring agreement with the OCC reflected in the OCC Memorandum of Understanding signed on the 26th of January 2024 will be translated into individual bilateral agreements with each member of the OCC. Similarly, domestic regulatory formalities will be concluded by Sri Lanka and Exim Bank of China to give effect to the amendment agreements. This will enable the official restructuring to be implemented. The successful implementation of the restructuring agreements with official creditors will provide an impetus to the negotiations with commercial creditors. It added that Sri Lanka continues to engage with its bondholders and the advisors, which is expected to yield a restructuring agreement that meets the DSA targets and is comparable to the agreements reached with the OCC and Exim Bank of China. As of now, the domestic debt restructuring has been completed. The official restructuring agreements have been concluded, leaving only the external commercial debt restructuring to be concluded for the overall debt restructuring process to be finalized.
The World Bank Group has appointed a new country manager for Sri Lanka.
Starting today, Gavog Sargsyan becomes the World Bank Group Country Manager for Sri Lanka, a position that will unify country-level leadership across the institution to better support Sri Lanka's public and private sector priorities. This newly created position provides a single point of contact for access to the full breadth of World Bank Group products and services and will enhance the institution's ability to address global challenges and drive development with speed, efficiency and impact. Sargsyan, an Armenian national, joined the World Bank in 2000, bringing over 2 decades of diverse experience to the role. His career at the World Bank includes serving in various capacities, notably as country manager and manager of operations in Europe, Central Asia and East Asia, as well as program manager for climate finance and as global lead for clean energy. His most recent assignment was as country manager for Ukraine, based in Kiev.
Bus fares will be reduced with effect from midnight today.
The National Transport Commission announced a reduction in bus fares by 5.7% effective from midnight today. Under the revised fare structure, the minimum bus fare will now be 28 rupees.
The bus fare will be reduced by 5.07%. This is effective from midnight today. We consider 12 criteria in calculating this. The minimum fare of 30 rupees became 28 rupees, 38 becomes 36 rupees, 50 rupees will be reduced to 47 rupees. There are 350 bus fare amendments. All 350 will be reduced by 5.07%.
Fuel prices in Sri Lanka were revised last night. Accordingly, 92-octane petrol is reduced by 11 rupees to 344 rupees. 95-octane petrol is reduced by 41 rupees to 379 rupees. Super diesel is reduced by 22 rupees to 355 rupees. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation said that the prices of auto diesel and kerosene will remain unchanged. Lanka IOC said it revised fuel prices to meet the CPC levels, while Sinopec also revised the prices of its petroleum products. School equipment and exercise books under the LOLC Divisavya program took place today at the 3,500 school that benefited from the program. The Divisavya program, which started in February 2023, is operating under 3 phases. Under the first phase, stationery and exercise books were distributed over 1,400 schools. Stationery and exercise books were distributed to 1,500 schools under the second phase. Under the third phase, exercise books and stationery items are to be distributed to 1,200 schools. The total funds invested for this program is 2.5 billion rupees. LOLC Divisavya considers the needs of
of all students equally. The aim of the program is to ensure the educational needs of all children by easing their difficulties. The 30th day of the third phase of the LOLC Devisavya program, which is being carried out for the betterment of Sri Lanka's future generation, got underway today in the Patiklo district. Accordingly, exercise books and stationery equipment were donated to the students at the Maturankeni Government Tamil Mixed School, Vaddavan Kalai Mahal Vidyalaya, Alankulama Government Tamil Mixed School, Vanturamolei Kannaki Vidyalaya, Palaichole Vipulananda Vidyalaya, Orumolei Chole Shri Sitti Vinayanagar Vidyalaya, Kandaladdi Arunethi Vidyalaya, Kalmadu Vivekananda Vidyalaya and Pulipainathakal Government Tamil School.
Deputy Director General of the Research Office of the International Department of the Communist Party of China visited the Pathfinder Foundation headquarters today.
A 5-member delegation headed by Su Zuhui, Deputy Director General of Research Office, International Department of Communist Party of China, visited the Pathfinder Foundation headquarters. Both parties discussed the current development of the international situation and the evolution of the international landscape. In addition, the parties analyzed the dynamics of the global south and prospects for its future development. The third secretary of the Embassy of China was also in attendance.
A delegation from the Parliamentary Sahayak Foundation in Bangladesh arrived in Sri Lanka for a 9-day exposure visit program on water, sanitation and hygiene sector in Sri Lanka.
A delegation from the Pali Karma Sahayak Foundation in Bangladesh are on an exposure visit program on water, sanitation and hygiene sector in Sri Lanka.
Access to clean water, safe sanitation and effective hygiene remain a persistent challenge with devastating consequences for individuals, economies and the environment. Making achievements of WASH programs and services sustainable requires focus on water governance. In Australia, they do water accounting, but we are not doing that. Because Sri Lanka, you will experience, I will tell you, of course, you know that we have enough water. Because water management, we have started centuries ago by our kings. The big reservoirs, of course, you will visit Anuradhapura Polonnaruwa, you will witness this introduction of accountability in what provides water practitioners with a toolbox of concepts to help identify which accountability factors affect the sustainability of water and sanitation service delivery and match this diagnosis to different solutions and options for action.
The program will be held from the 30th of June till the 9th of July, during which the Bangladeshi delegation will participate in lectures, workshops and field visits, including to Polonnaruwa, to study the ancient water management systems.
The year 2024 marks the completion of 100 years since the enshrinement of the revered statue of Lady Madu. Tonight is part 2 of the special segment by Newsfirst on this important occasion. The Sripada pilgrimage, revered by Buddhists, and the Madu pilgrimage, significant for Catholics, boast rich historical roots. These sacred journeys involve traversing dense forests and rugged mountains. Devotees walk through forests and reach their final destination, the shrine of Our Lady of Madu, by foot, and it is known that all of those devotees stayed in the shrine's premises by building campsites in it. Even though there are animals around the shrine's premises, the people have never experienced any threat from those animals.
Today marked 100 years since the coronation of Our Lady of Madu, where special masses were held at the shrine of Our Lady of Madu, while a special stamp, a special first day cover were issued.
The feast of Our Lady of Madu, which is attended by a large number of devotees, was held for the first time on the 2nd of July in 1870. The feast is held throughout a week, and every year on the 15th of August, the shrine of Our Lady of Madu is filled with a large number of devotees. In addition to this, during different times of the year, the shrine's premises are filled with devotees who come individually and in groups hoping for blessings from Our Lady of Madu, and it is due to the belief of the devotees that this land is full of powerful miracles of Our Lady of Madu.
Opposition India bloc MP staged a protest in the Indian Parliament premises in New Delhi against the alleged misuse of probe agencies by the government to target them.
Ruckus ensued in the Lok Sabha amid LOP and Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's first speech in the 18th Lok Sabha. The uproar was first witnessed when Gandhi gestured to the Treasury bench and said, quote, "Those who call themselves Hindus talk about violence," unquote. Continuing his response to the motion of thanks to the President's address, he went on to lash out at the centre over not fulfilling farmers' demands and the ongoing row over NEET. Earlier in the day, opposition members demanded a separate one-day discussion on the NEET paper leak issue in the Lok Sabha and staged a walkout after they sought a clear assurance from the government on the issue. The walkout came after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh asserted that a separate discussion cannot be held till the House finishes with the motion of thanks on the President's address. Several India bloc MPs also staged a protest in Parliament premises against the alleged misuse of probe agencies by the government to target opposition leaders. In the Rajya Sabha, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge took potshots at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement that last 10 years of his rule was just a trailer and, quote-unquote, picture abhi baki hai, saying the third term of NDA has seen exam paper leaks, terror attack in J&K, train accident, airport canopy collapse, bridges cave-ins and toll tax hike.
Australia said it had more than doubled the visa fee for international students, the latest move by the government to rein in record migration that has intensified pressure on an already tight housing market. From the 1st of July, the international student visa fee has risen to $1,600 from $710, while visitor visa holders and students with temporary graduate visas are banned from applying onshore for a student visa. Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill said in a statement, quote, "The changes coming into force today will help restore integrity to our international education system and create a migration system which is fairer, smaller and better able to deliver for Australia," unquote. Official data released in March showed net immigration rose 60% to a record 548,800 people in the year to September 30th, 2023. The rise in fees makes applying for a student visa for Australia far more expensive than in competing countries like the US and Canada, where they cost about $185 and $110 respectively. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has unveiled a new coalition government after his ruling African National Congress party lost its parliamentary majority in May's elections. He said the government of national unity is unprecedented in the history of our democracy. The ANC will have 20 out of 32 cabinet posts, while the pro-market Democratic Alliance, until now the main opposition party, will hold 6. 6 other portfolios are shared amongst smaller parties. These appointments followed weeks of tense negotiations that threatened to scupper the agreement. At one point, Ramaphosa had accused the DA of trying to create a parallel government in breach of the constitution. France's far right is in pole position after the first round of parliamentary elections that confirmed their dominance in French politics and brought them to the gates of power. Supporters of Marine Le Pen's anti-immigration national rally cheered as she said the president's Macronist bloc has been all but wiped out. RN won 33.1% of the vote, with a left-wing alliance behind on 28% and the Macron camp behind on 20.76%. 28-year-old RN party leader Jordan Bardella said, quote, "I am to be Prime Minister for all the French people if the French give us their votes," unquote. Never before has the far right won the first round of a French parliamentary election.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good
night.